Hey, my name is Bo. Glad you're here. In today's video, I'm going to share with you a new perspective on forgiveness that you may have never heard before. And by the end of this video, you're going to understand how easy it can really be to forgive people in your life who may have hurt you in the past, to forgive yourself for things you've done in the past, and to move on, let the past go so you can move into your brighter future. So I want you to think about a situation. I want you to imagine that you or someone else walked up to me and slapped me in the face. Okay? You slapped me in the face. Hard. I would probably make a judgment about you in that moment, right? I would say you're an asshole. You're a mean person. And I might judge myself too. I might say, oh, I must be a bad person. Why'd you do that to me? I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough for you, whatever. You're going to place a judgment on the other person, or I could place a judgment on myself. So usually we do a little bit of both of those. And I want you to also imagine a different scenario, well, the same scenario, but imagine if you slapped me in the face and I didn't place a meaning or a judgment on it at all. And also, I didn't replay it in my mind. So this is the big shift you need to make. Realize that forgiveness is not about other people. You're not really forgiving someone else for what they did to you. You're really forgiving yourself in a way for having the perspective and the thoughts that you are having about it. That is what really needs to be forgiven. Forgive yourself for having the perspective that you do, for having the judgments that you do about that person or about yourself or both. It's really self-forgiveness. All forgiveness is self-forgiveness. This might be hard for some people to handle because you might say, well, someone really did hurt me. They did something cruel to me. They did something, and they don't really deserve my forgiveness, and they probably deserve to be punished. If you're honest with yourself, you're probably thinking that they deserve some kind of punishment, which is why you withhold your forgiveness and your love from them, because you think they deserve the punishment, the wrath of your ego, and they deserve that, right, because of what they did. Or maybe you think you deserve to be punished for something you did in the past. Why are you punishing yourself? So you're either punishing someone else in your mind, or you're punishing yourself. You're punishing someone else, or you're punishing yourself. But where is all this punishment taking place? It's taking place within your mind, within your own perspective of the situation. So we have to ask ourselves, how can we change our perspective of the situation? How can I start to see this person who may have hurt me? How can I see their innocence instead of their guilt? You see, a lack of forgiveness comes from seeing the world as a guilty place. You look at other people and you look for what they're guilty of. What did they do wrong? Why are they bad? You look at yourself and you say, what is wrong about me? Why am I guilty? What have I done that's wrong? And then you punish yourself and your thoughts and your perception of life. You punish others and you punish yourself because you're, in a way, if you're honest with yourself, in a way, you're obsessed with guilt. And you have to ask, where did you learn that from? Where did you learn to be obsessed with guilt? Most of us learned it as young children, the way we were raised. We were punished for things that we did wrong, for being bad. And we learned the concept of guilt. And we learned that in order to correct behavior and make the world a better place, we have to punish ourselves and punish others. That is how we change people. Most of us learned that as kids, unconsciously. But we act that out in adulthood and for the rest of our lives in most cases. And we think guilt solves problems. That's why you may find it hard to forgive someone, because secretly you believe they're guilty and they don't deserve your forgiveness. So what is the real problem? Is it the person? Is it what they did to you? Is it what you did to yourself? Is it what happened in the past? Is that really what needs to be forgiven and let go of? Or is it just the perspective that you're holding in the present moment? Maybe that's all you need to let go of. So how do we start to let go of these perspectives and see things differently? Again, we have to switch from guilt to seeing innocence in everyone and everything. See the innocence in yourself. See the child in yourself that wants to punish this person, wants to get revenge. That's the inner child that wants that. It thinks that punishment is the solution. because maybe you were taught that by the way you were raised. See the innocence in yourself. See the innocence in the other person. See that maybe the person who hurt you only hurt you because they didn't know any better, just like a child doesn't know any better. It's no different. The inner child lives on within us all. So just see that maybe even someone who's very cruel and did horrible things, maybe they did it out of their innocence, not out of their guilt. This is a huge perspective shift that you need to have. People make mistakes, people hurt people do cruel things, not out of their guilt, but because they're so innocent and naive, and they just don't know better. Just like a child, if a young child doesn't know any better, they make a mistake, they do something bad or wrong, you're going to find it much easier to forgive a child, right? Because you realize their innocence. You realize that they just don't know any better, and they're just trying to do the best they can, and they just don't know better. They can't do better until they know better. You see that easily in a child, but why do we find it so hard to do the same for grown adults? Because we don't realize that just because someone's an adult doesn't mean they don't still have that inner child in them that doesn't know better. That inner child that's still innocent and naive and is just trying to do the best that they can. You're not really forgiving what someone did to you. You're forgiving your thoughts about it. It's like if you slap me in the face. If I didn't make any judgments about what you just did, it didn't make it mean anything, maybe we could just have a discussion about what happened, why you did it, be logical and rational about it. Then it would be easy for both of us to let go of what just happened. I could forgive you. Maybe I decide I don't want to hang out with you anymore because you like to slap people in the face, so I'd rather not be around that. So I'm not going to be friends with you, but I don't have to judge you behind your back and say you're a horrible person and tell the whole world that you like to slap people in the face. I don't have to do that. I can let it go. I can move on with my life. Because when you realize that forgiveness is really self-forgiveness, when you're really just letting go of your own thoughts and perspectives, and when you learn how to do that and see the innocence in yourself and others, you start to realize that no one can hurt you. No one can hurt you. Deep at your core, you're always whole, perfect, and complete. You don't need someone to forgive you. You don't even need to forgive others because there was nothing to forgive in the first place. You're only forgiving yourself, really. You're only letting go of the thoughts that didn't serve you to begin with. The thoughts that cloud the fact or the truth that you are already enough as you are. You already are whole. You don't need anyone else to do anything or give you anything or validate you or say I'm sorry to you. You don't need to repeat the past, replay those memories. There's nothing for you to gain in any of that. When you see that there's nothing to gain from not forgiving, then forgiving is easy. When you see there's no benefit in it for anyone, you see it doesn't serve any purpose. It doesn't make you feel better. It doesn't help the other person let go either. It doesn't make you any happier. It doesn't make you bring joy and peace into the world. It doesn't do anything. You're just harboring these resentments in your mind, and you just have to be kind to yourself and realize that you're innocent just like everyone else is, and you have that inner child just like everyone else does. And the inner child thinks that holding on to these thoughts is good, and you're gonna get revenge somehow, or it's gonna solve the problem somehow, or it's gonna serve justice somehow. Your inner child likes to believe these things. But if you're really honest with yourself and realize that this is all stemming from your own perspectives, then maybe you'll be willing to see things differently. Maybe you'll be willing to let go and realize that this person, even though you think they hurt you, they never actually hurt you. They only made you think that you're hurt, and then that hurt becomes real because you replay it in your mind, and it becomes a part of you. But who's hurting who? Are they still hurting you, or are you hurting you?